Howdy Neighbors, and welcome to a Pinch of Magic. I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't really know too much about this game, but I heard that it was really cute and fun, so I think we should do it. What is your name? I'm going with the typical. Boop. Okay then, that's found by me. She is a cutie pie. I like their hair. I really like their hair. But I'm gonna go with this one. I think I like the jacket more. Whoa! I let out a freeing yawn as I leaped down from the bus onto the pavement below, bags in hand. Finally, I made it. Drinking in at the familiar surroundings, I took a moment to execute some quick squats. The brisk stretcher size is exactly what my compressed muscles ordered, all stiff from the several-hour-long bus ride from the city to the sea. I wonder just how far Jack-in-the-Boxes feel when they pop out. Oh my god. I wonder if this is how Jack-in-the-Boxes feel when they pop out. Newly energized, I extend my arms to the tropical sun, as if to pluck it from the sky, and take in a greedy lungful of delicious sea air. What is wrong with my reading? We just started. As always, the warm climate here on the coast feels as though it's welcoming me back home. Back to the place where I belong. I miss this. All of it. And ahead of me is a summer-long period of peace and respite. I just graduated high school, and from now on, there will be no parents, teachers, or peers reminding me with every breath that I'm wading to the end of my teenage years with no direction. It's the sun, the sea, and this place. My destination. The tranquil seaside town of Linsdale. Nestled in a quiet, crescent-shaped cove on the coast and licked by the starry, deep blue waves of the East Sea, some people have taken to affectionately nicknaming it Moon Bay. A pretty occultic name, all things considered. I kinda like it. But it always seemed perfectly apt, because it's also the town my grandmother, my Baba, calls home. She just so happens to be an exceptional and absolutely eccentric witch. All these years later, and I still wouldn't put it past her to have coined Moon Bay herself, just because it might help drum up business among magic folk. For the first time in 3 years, she asked me to visit this summer. I can't wait to resume my magic training. My fingers, electrified, are already tingling at the prospect. I reached into my pocket of my hoodie, feeling for the letter she sent, making sure it's still there. Cursive on vellum, and a wax seal. Yep. Nobody except a wily old woman would write like this anymore. There's no time like the present. Unable to hide my eagerness to see her again, I hoist my bags up to my shoulder and take off at a sprint up the staircase, leaving the bus stop far behind. And once I leap across the threshold of the stairway's end, I see the sight I've longed to see and open my lungs wide. What the fuck? Hello, coffee? Curiositeas? Curiositeas. Well, it's in all caps, I can't read. I'm home. My grandmother's cafe stands before me. A static monument among the other buildings, utterly unchanged. Like a moment in time, perfectly preserved the way I always remembered it. It reminds me of my childhood. Of iced coffee in summer, sea salt ice cream, and freer days spent under Baba's tutelage. That, in itself, is a rare kind of magic that leaves me spellbound. Naturally, my puppy cry draws the attention of several passerby outside the store, many of whom recognize me and wave in greeting. Well, I'll be, if it isn't Iris. Been a spell since you've been back. You still kept that strange habit of greeting the cafe like the person I see. Well, she's not wrong. I guess I am a little old to be shown in public. But as Baba used to say, a witch breathes magic and life into all things. Every word is a charm, every sentence is a spell. Now I think about it, it's totally possible she was just hoodwinking an extremely gullible 5-year-old. But, well, it's a huge tradition, so who cares? I wave energetically back. Hey there, it's good to see you again. Do you know if my grandmother's about? I wishes you to give her pause, as she forces a smile, which can only be read as guilty embarrassment. Oh, it was she? I'm not sure. I haven't been in for coffee in a while, you see. Anyway, nice seeing you again. Before I had to respond, she scuttles off over the hill, leaving me stranded in confusion at the coffee door. What in the hemlock was that all about? Let's stay over the cafe again. My eyes narrow suspiciously and roam up and down the building. I finally notice one extremely telling clue. It's the height of morning. The curtains are shut tight. Fisher still is how quiet it is. Wait, don't tell me. I practically kick the door down in my provoked state, and once inside, all my suspicions are confirmed. Not only are the lights all switched off, not only is there no customers, not only is the door clearly been unlocked with complete disregard to nasty draughts, thieves, and trespassers, but on top of that, Bob was nowhere to be found. The lingering, mingled fragrance of sweet teas and bitter coffees temporarily catches me off guard, filling my nose and mind with happy memories, and I quickly remember why I'm here. I stomp across the cafe floor in big strides, make a beeline for the door at the far end of the room. A door hidden behind a heavy satin curtain, and bewitched to be invisible to all non-magic customers. Baba! Baba! I stepped down my tracks. In the secret room, fell floor to ceiling with mystical objects, is Baba's crystal ball table. The table radiating with memories of afternoons sitting in her lap, poring over dusty tombs and having the wonders of magic whispered in my ear. And now on the table, clearly awaiting my arrival, a small paper ornament, and a shaded letter folded to the shape of a miniature rabbit. When I enter the room, it turns up its ears and bounds up from its slumber, hopping to the table's edge to greet me. I would recognize the magic anywhere. Barbara would while away hours folding these critters for me as I studied, until she had gifted me an entire animal kingdom out of paper. I never failed to put a smile on my face. She can only mean she's buttering me up for some unsavory news. I skeptically scooped out the paper rabbit in my hand, and at the touch of my finger to his nose, it unravels itself. Sure enough, my grandmother has inked a note in cursive inside. My dear Cyrus, I have run away. Since I was the one who invited you to stay with me this summer, I'll venture that this will come as a shock to you. It wasn't part of my plan, but running the cafe was beginning to feel rather dull. Then I remembered it's mugwort season, and also that the witch folk are hosting a mushroom-picking festival in the mountains. Much less droll, by far. Do not come searching for me. Write to me, though, if you want me to bring back some mugwort. Otherwise, I shall bring you nothing. Take care of the place while I'm gone. P.S. I hope you have money. The pantry is empty. Bro, what the fuck? Knew it. That wayward old witch. Slumping onto one of the table's squishy cushions, I threw my arms up to feet. I absolutely should have expected this. Flying through life at the seat of her pants. Living by her every whim. Prepping things when they no longer suit her. The entire situation reaches into the far recesses of my mind, conjuring up echoes of countless other past examples of how real? I don't know. Bob, it could be. Closing up at noon to go skinny dipping in the ocean. Hosting a luau party. Then passing out after an hour on her own deadly magic punch. Her crimes of... Oh my god, words! Capriciousness? Knew few bounds. She may have taught me everything I know of magic. But early on, I had to master brewing tea and coffee, not just potions, just to keep this place running smoothly. Suddenly it dawned on me exactly why the passerby had acted so suspiciously. I bet she cut and run days ago. Let everyone in town not to breathe a word. Yeah, sounds about right. No matter how you cut it, she's just running from her responsibilities again. I seriously have no clue how she managed to keep this place running all these years. My lips pressed themselves into a thin, stubborn line. My word tea is my favorite, though. I guess it's time to go shopping. An hour or so later, I made begrudging progress in the cafe's sorry state. With the door now locked and the curtains still tightly drawn, I make use of the privacy by enchanting Baba's dustpan and broom, setting them to work on the floor. They whiz around the room in a waltz, making quick work of any dust or grime in their path. After a brief inspection, all that remains in the fridge is a curdling bottle of milk. The pantry cupboards have also been harboring nothing but dust, but were saved earlier by a trip to the local supermarket. Rest in peace, poor wallet. Luckily, it also seems the cafe's more expensive wares are in plentiful stock. The exotic plethora of tea leaves and unground coffee beans have been safely stored in bags or dry containers. The siphons, mills, and other apparatuses, too, are in good working order. Knowing Baba's devil-may-care attitude, the situation here could have been far worse. It should be kind of my blessing she didn't let any rats inside those sacks. That moment, as if my words had personally offended her efforts, Baba's cat slinks into the room and up onto the counter to glare at me. There you are, Hannibal. Words familiar reduced to a rat catcher. How would the mighty fall in the wrong hands? But since you don't have anything better to do, if you see any about, you'll be sure to let me know. When I reach across the counter to scritch behind her ears, she forgets her grumpiness in a heartbeat and pads off into the bedroom for an afternoon nap. The dustpan and broom soon done with their work. I thank them for their service and quickly finish putting the covers in order. After a satisfying stretch, I pull back the curtains to survey the place triumphantly. Watch out, Linsdale. We're back in business. Standing there with hands on hips, and a funny feeling that courses through my chest. A kind of liberation and pride that comes with being free to wantonly spellcast for the first time in a painfully long while. I missed even more than I thought I would. Not too rusty though, thankfully. Now then, the last port of call is to flip that sign, and after that, it's time to brew some criminally delicious coffee. As soon as I step outside, I pause. My senses are once more splashed by the salty air, the sun's warmth, and the far-off songs of soaring flock of seagulls. And in my line of sight, the sea itself, a shimmering, crystal blue expanse, calling me back to its edge. Well, I worked pretty hard, if I do say so myself. This little stretch of the legs beforehand couldn't hurt. And so, with slow, meandering strides, I crossed the pavement and paced down the small stone staircase heading to the beachfront. I take my time, enjoying the afternoon breeze and the journey all the way to the boardwalk and beyond. When I reach the beach edge, I slide off my shoes and press on, free and barefoot, in the sand. It softly envelops my feet as I walk, like a floor made of satin. The waves, too, are like rolls of crystalline satin sheets being unraveled onto the shore, rolling over rocks, shells, and themselves gently slipping back to their source. As ever, Moon Bay. You're almost too perfect for words. I pull myself down to the sand, stretching out my legs and searching along the water surface for something. Weren't you still out there? But before I can continue that thought, my phone in my back pocket hums. And when I retrieve it, I see several texts coming from my parents. Their messages cascade simultaneously into the group chat, making it painfully obvious they're both sitting beside each other, typing with a joint agenda. Did you arrive safely? Forgot to text us, we were worried. How's Baba? Is she doing well? How's her back? And there it is. I sigh, typing back my regular response whenever they awkwardly attempt to bring her up. If that worried, we could always, try talking to her herself, Dad. I'm sure she'd like to hear from you, from both of you. After a brief exchange, ending in I love yous all around, I fling my phone to the side and fall back onto the sandbed. The history between my parents and Baba was fractured, to say the least. In this world, where so few people are gifted with the ability to wield magic, we hide what we are for an easier life. Hundreds of years ago, those without the gift feared us, persecuted us, and worse. The world was messy. The witch folk decided, almost unanimously, that it was better to fade into anonymity than cause trouble. Nowadays, as far as the rest of normal society is concerned, it's known that we exist out there somewhere, but rarely do you see a witch shouting it from the rooftops. But the good I know we do, there's no glory in it at all. So, with my parents and Baba, well, Baba had always been an immensely talented witch. First time I was sent here to stay with her for the summer, I was 3. She showed me a few simple spells, and even though I could barely speak, I guess it was natural. I still remember her sweeping me up when I successfully levitated a paperclip. She was so giddy, it was impossible for her to contain herself. But my parents were different. They never taught me magic, never encouraged me to learn it. All they wished for me was an utterly normal life. They asked Baba to stop teaching me, and that was that. Or so they thought. And they found out I had flown in the face of their disapproval, and had secretly been studying hard under Baba every single summer for 10 years. Oh boy. I remember that day. Dad's face went a shade of blue. I didn't think was possible outside of being hexed. After that, the relationship became strained. They stopped talking. I became the mediator, their owl, ferrying messages back and forth. I stopped visiting Linsdale for a while, to give them all time to cool off. Take a sip of your gamer juice. Fuck yeah. A normal life. A boring life devoid of magic. I feel empty just at the thought of it. But, honestly, I don't really have the first clue what I want to do in the future. If only witch folk didn't have to hide who they were. As I worked myself back up to hug my knees, I realized that I've been absentmindedly dragging a finger along the sand all this time. I'd drawn nothing remotely artistic, of course. It was a bunch of badly drawn swirls that barely resemble shapes at all. Hehe, it's almost as terrible as Kai's. The spark ignites a recollection in my mind. A spark which sends me flying back to before I had been interrupted by my parents' messages. Back to thoughts of a friend from a long time ago. My eyes meet the sea again. Kaya's home. My childhood friend, who had been as much a part of my summers in Linsdale as my grandmother. She was an extraordinary person in her own right. A mermaid who befriended a witch. Shy, a little fumbling in the beginning, she barely grasped human language. Kaya was just about the only sound she could make. We communicated by drawing shapes in the sand, and though hers were terrible, I got pretty good at deciphering them. I can still clearly remember our first meeting, here on the shore. I was 5. Mom and Dad had just asked Baba to stop teaching me magic, and I was whirling into the ocean at the top of my lungs. And it was only once my tears had dried up when I noticed a curious baby mermaid, who had snuck away from home to investigate the surface, was peering at me through the waves. As I reminisced, a smile switched across my face. Kaya, that's why. That's right. Fuck me. That's right. I wonder if she and her family even still swim in these waters. With a renewed purpose, I leap up and dust myself off. I tread up and down the beach, scanning the waters for any sign of movement, but, unsurprisingly, I don't find a trace of her anywhere. There isn't a fin in sight. Well, that'll teach me for being willfully optimistic. As if mermaids would ever venture this close to shore. They'd be found out in a heartbeat. Still, I haven't exhausted all the tricks on my sleeve just yet. Determined, I set off up and down the beach once again, this time with eyes on the sand, scouring the golden floor for a particular object. And finally, wedged between some barnacled rocks, I found exactly what I was looking for. A prismatic conch, shimmering and weighty to the touch. More importantly, in the hands of a witch, is a horn that, when blown, can sing the song only a mermaid could hear. It was an ancient spell Baba had taught me as a child, used by the old witches in times of strife to call mermaids to their aid. And together, Kaya and I had repurposed it. Since the day we met, it had been my way of communicating to her. I'm here, I want to see you. Well, I suppose there's only one way to find out if she's still out there, listening to me. As a precaution, I spin about, checking for onlookers, but this quarter of the beach is deserted. So I reach into the recesses of my mind for the ancient spell, pluck out its melody, note by note, and whisper my request to the shell at my fingertips. Where do the waves, my bottomless heart be, an ocean of love built just for thee? And if thou art astray in faraway foam, the song of my sea will call you home. As the conch begins to gleam, gather my breath and blow gently into its tip. Whee! No matter how many times I call, Kaya doesn't appear. The waves simply keep rolling over the sand at my feet, slowly soaking in and causing me to sink. As she left in search of somewhere better, after all. No Baba, no Kaya. This truly was shaping up to be a pretty miserable summer, and the pang of pain I feel in my chest is sudden, but not unexpected. 3 years ago, when I said goodbye and left Linsdale, I didn't know it would be the last time. I didn't get a chance to tell her. I was sad, my shoulders droop a little. She always was so timid and unsure of herself. I wonder if she waited every summer for me to come back, and I never did. But I never want to let sadness get the better of me for long. I clap my cheeks together. At the very least, I know that right now, all I can do is see her off with a smile. Sorry, Kaya, but I hope wherever you are, you're swimming happy, and that your drawings don't suck anymore. After exhaling my feelings cathartically into the afternoon air, I turn heel and head back toward the stairs. Time to open up the cafe for the evening. While my head swims with thoughts of coffee beans, recipes, and measurements, I forget to check for obstacles in my path before I know it. I collide with someone else. Oh, I'm so sorry. Please excuse me. The bump had successfully knocked me down a stair or two. As I shake off the pain, her eyes meet mine. Her golden irises, her amethyst hair, everything about her beauty is dazzling, and it temporarily catches me off guard. I'm grateful she seems unharmed. I run my fingers through my hair, somewhat embarrassed. Not at all, I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention either. Are you alright? Yes, Her voice quickly trails off, but she continues to stare at me with great intensity, looking me up and down with wide eyes. It's at the cafe. I don't have time to be wasting here. I flash her a polite smile and, shooting back up the hill, excuse myself. Sorry again. Have a nice evening. Large leaping strides bring me back to the cusp of the hill in record time. With the afternoon sky already fading into an orange glow, evening is practically here. I have no concrete grasp of how long Baba's Cafe has been closed for since she cut and run. But there's one thing I know for certain. And that's that I don't want to keep the Linsdale patrons waiting any longer. It's funny, but I let slip that Baba's irresponsibleness is what put me into this mess in the first place. I'm actually excited. Rushing about, serving special blends, putting smiles on customers' faces. It was difficult at first, maybe, but I grew to love it. Positive vibes, Iris. Maybe this will be a good summer after all. With renewed energy, I began to mentally roll my sleeves. To sit around the corner, an unpleasant sight caught my newly buoyed mood. Makes my newly buoyed mood sink faster than a stone anchor. What the? This guy's at the cafe. Pulled unceremoniously up to the curb. It was a garish red sports car. It was brand new and clearly far too expensive to belong to any resident in Linsdale. Are you serious? What sort of self-centered idiot parks their car square in front of a shop entrance? Already ticked off, I watched an elderly man with a cane struggles to shuffle through the gap in the pavement, grasping the cafe wall for support. He gets his revenge as he passes by, though, flipping the bird at the car's tinted windows as he goes by. Heh, you go, Grandpa. And if I had any doubts that this gaudy bride would spell trouble, they're blown away as soon as the driver steps aside. Tall, blonde, sunglasses and jean jacket slams the door behind them, yawning loudly. Leaning lazily onto the car roof, he slips his sunglasses up into his hairline and clicks his tongue at the elderly man's back. I'm about to storm up and give him peace of my mind when he pulls out his phone. This latest model, as it looks like, begins snapping landscape shots of the cafe. May I help you? Letting his free hand casually into his back pocket, just a flash of a smile. It's so not cute. Ah, you're the owner. I square my shoulders as much as humanly possible, arms folded crossly. Yes, I am. My name's Iris, and I don't appreciate you blocking my door. I don't appreciate you blocking the door my customers use. Customers? Cockney raised an eyebrow, and looks around the now very empty street. He pulls out his sunglasses once or twice in a mocking motion. How about that? I guess my prescription's wrong, because I don't see a single soul sniffing about. Looks like what you have here is a bona fide dead spot. Dead spot? Better not be insulting my cafe. Another condescending smile slowly stretches across his face. He's clearly looking down on me, and doesn't care to provide any kind of answer. He just continues on, ignoring my question. Not an insult per se. As it so happens, it's exactly the spot I'm looking for. With a twinkle in his eye, he straightens up and spins his phone in both hands. His whole demeanor changes as he begins typing on the screen with lightning speed. What's your specialty here? Cafe Cubano? Chinese teas? Matcha? We do serve something other than salty tap water, I assume. Sure. There's a bottle of rancid milk in the fridge with your name on it. Yes, all those things. We aren't some backwater cafe that only serves standard gypsy swill. They run this place with someone else. My grandmother, she's not here right now. What's the place called? Are you freaking kidding me? Look at the damn sign, poster boy. I sigh, loudly and dramatically. Have coffee Curiositeas. His finger pauses there, typing for a moment. He looks at the time. He takes the time to raise a smug eyebrow at me. Right, bravo. No, really, it's inspired. A little desperate, and only slightly nauseating. He stands up straight and takes one more large, gulping glance at the cafe's facade. He flips his phone and snaps a headshot of a startled face. It's a perfect blend. The material for my blog, that is. Oh, fuck you. Your blog? Fuck off! He gives me a look that is equal parts smug and pitying. It's perhaps the most punchable expression I've ever seen. You have no idea who I am, do you? No. Wait, but now that I get a really good look at him, he actually does look somewhat familiar. Here, a souvenir. Don't bend it now. It's premium embossed. With a wink, he slips a business card into my hand. Fancy gold script spells out Cuisine Blogger and the name Mikhail. Thanks. Guess I'll use it when I run out of toilet paper. I snap the card from his fingers, making sure to look thoroughly unimpressed as I do. His smeary veneer creaks, just a little at that. Charmed, I'm sure. Now then, let's hope the coffee wildly lives up to my expectations, shall we? I can feel my blood boiling. The way that smirk plays at the edge of his mouth, it's perfectly obvious what his expectations are. But I still can't place his face. I've read about bloggers like him. Vindictive types. Traipsing around the country, targeting coffee shops with small customer bases, searching for the worst of the worst for their scathing reviews, like sharks feasting on krill. For a second time, I slide my gaze grimly over his red sports car, with its ostentatious wheels, shiny mirrors, and waxed gleam. I suppose when you're the scum at the surface of the industry, it doesn't matter if you destroy businesses wherever you go, as long as those clicks keep coming. Well, he's not going to drag Baba's cafe through the mud on my watch. So, here I am, in the flesh. You're only a paying customer, and all that. I drove 2 hours from the city to find this place. Are you going to let me in? I shout over to the door and start unlocking it, but inwardly, that boiling blood is starting to boil over. I'm in no mood to play nice. In fact, just for the audacity of coming here and trying to mess with the witch's business, I'm perfectly happy to play just a little dirty. With help of some magic. Slipping my hand inconspicuously behind my back, I start to weave a spell in the air, step toward him, all the while a sweet smile plastered on my face. Sure, I don't have a problem with that. You're welcome to try my coffee. Quickest way to get you off my property. But you might not want to step aside just yet, because... Oh, we do not have a lot of save spots this time. Seal just saw your phone. Huh? First is Seal to see a gigantic seabird, and now squatting on top of his car, phone in beak. I'm pleased to see that, after being summoned, I took the time to excrete on the car before it landed too. Nice touch if I do say so myself. Hey Birdie, can you give me back my phone now? It's very expensive, and it was a gift, so... Alright, just give it back, yeah? Deliciously flustered, Mikhail edges closer to the seagull, trying to scare it back to the skies with the phone in tow. Please. The eagle blinks at him with a bored indifference. So just give it back to me. So just for the seagull, a complete idiot. Finally compelled to move, the bird immediately drops the phone and rocks itself in the air. In the process, its clawed webbed feet tear through the fragile pane of the metal on the car roof, leaving a permanent deep scar on the surface. Oops. Oh, he's screaming. Mikhail rushes forward and falls upon the car in misery, like a man whose soul has been crushed. Bianca, my darling, no, no! Oh, Godfather's gonna kill me. Bring, bring. Progresso. With timing so impeccable, I'm almost convinced I somehow cast a second spell. Mikhail's phone explosively starts to ring. While seeing the caller ID, the blood drains from his face. Beep. Father, it's good to hear from you. Oh, no, I'm fine. Back from Hawaii. Ah, well, yes, of course I can, but, Father, it's about the car you bought me. It's a funny story. I've completely forgotten me. Mikhail woefully shuffles away, out of earshot, to take the phone call. That wasn't my fault, right? Nah. Accident, Iris. Not vandalism. Just an accident. Yep, nothing to worry about. And so, mostly smug, yet just ever so slightly regretting my influence on the turn of events. I take the opportunity to back away from the cafe door, swinging the sign to open along the way. The minutes, and then tens of minutes, painfully tick by. Not a single potential customer steps aside or even hazards to peek in the window. Wow! What the fuck is going on with my reading? Goddamn. I start by leaning over the counter, head in palms, alternating between watching the clock hands and the bell above the door. But I quickly get bored. My twitchy hands tap the counter, searching for something to do. Miguel's business card is nearby, exactly where I'd thrown it earlier. So I retrieve it and twirl it about absentmindedly. See how famous this guy really is. Oh, seriously? Quick phone search pulls up hundreds of results. Blog posts which hit into tens of thousands. Sponsorships ties to prominent worldwide cafe chain Moonbox. A hefty follower base on social media. And even a narcissistic modeling portfolio of monochrome, shirtless photographs. Just great, as if I don't have enough problems right now. What's with those pictures? He's dripping wet in half of them. Did someone turn on a hose or something? So stupid. And now, more earth than ever, I chuck my phone aside and go back to watching the clock. All this inactivity is doing nothing except stiffening my muscles and making me anxious. 30 minutes and not away from anybody. Not even one of the regulars. This can't be right. I recall my previous summers here, where there were always non-magics and witch folk about, mingling, joking, and shooting friendly banter back and forth with Baba. Back then her cafe had never seemed wanting of patrons. Each day, a steady stream of satisfied customers were to come and go at an even pace. I had never been busy, but I was comfortable. Sure, it's unlikely that there'd be a lot of witch folk making the trip right now. No doubt they're all up in the mountaintop with Baba, picking mugwort and betting on fucking duels. But for the non-magics around either? I glance back at the clock, disappointed by what I see. It's far too late now to try to plug customers off the street. But if I root around, there may be something to use laying about somewhere. So, determined to be productive to some capacity, I trawl through some of the lower kitchen cupboards, hoping to find something to use to attract new customers in the morning. With the activity, Hannibal slinks to the kitchen and curls around my leg. With a pointed meow, she leads me to a hatch under a rug on the floor, below one of the open cupboards. Nice. Good job, Hannibal. She purrs silkily and continues to circle around as I rummage through the contents of the hatch box. There isn't much use, but I do stumble upon an old signboard for advertising and some pastel chalk sticks. Is it perfect? But I spruce it up a little. It'll do for a mini menu at the end of the street. Hannibal pokes her little head beneath my arm, demanding scritches for her hard work. I'm so distracted I failed to hear the bell chiming at the door. Good girl. Who's gonna get some fishy wishes tonight? That's right, you are. Excuse me. Oh, so I can help you out with you. Clutching the bruised crown of my head that just exchanged blows with the cupboard door, I totter embarrassingly back on my feet and heave myself over the counter. A radiant sight greets me. Hello. Fishy wishies. Sorry I was talking to the cat. Oh, I remember you. Her eyes visibly sparkle, and her cheeks pink in. You do? Of course, you're late from the beach, right? I'm sorry again for bumping into you back there. Oh no, it's quite alright. That's what they meant. Somehow she looks kinda sad. Did I see something wrong? Knocker silence settles over us. The search is on. She starts to comb a finger nervously through a loose curl of hair. Well, this is a fun way to start the evening. By making my only customer uncomfortable. Applying my kindness with a sincere smile, I just toward one of the seats at the counter. I can at least salvage the situation by acting professional now. Where are manners? You're here to order, right? Gotta get you. We have a menu around here somewhere. The room is behind the counter. Though her body language is shy, the woman's striking sandy eyes watch me intently. I can't help but feel a little nervous. Ah, here it is. I have the menu across the counter. A lavish high-end tablet listing all of the served items, including coffee blends, black, white, and green teas, small meals, and desserts. This tablet, much like the cafe itself, has a mystical secret up its sleeve. A coffee cup-shaped tab on the screen, enchanted to be invisible to non-magic customers, conceals a hidden second menu. One that displays some of Baba's oldest potions and other recipes designed for more magical patrons. I admit I was surprised earlier to find such a thing myself. The paper menu was all that had existed before. But the tablet looked brand new and screams, impulse purchase, which unfortunately also happens to be one of Baba's many bad habits. No one graciously takes the tablet from me. Tucking her periwinkle curl behind one of her stylish earrings, she begins scrolling intuitively through the menu. So elegant and glamorous. Her eyelashes have the beautiful dewy quality to them, like black waves breaking on the beach at night. So strong was the association, I was curiously struck by a sense of familiarity, but then... There was nothing new on the menu, I take it. Sorry. I could say I'm somewhat of a regular here. I know this place and its owner very well. Oh, I take it you also know my grandmother is out of town right now. I do, but it's no trouble at all. I didn't come here to see her. She shakes her head shyly. It's a devastating move, but I don't think she's doing it on purpose. Is she enjoying her vacation? Girl, I don't know shit. Sorry. Oh, yeah. But she's having a whale of a time. She pulls stunts like this she pulls stunts like this far too often. I'm half convinced she dragged me back here just to rope me into running this place for a few weeks. So I have to take a sip of gamer juice. The woman shuffles somewhat bashfully in her seat, lowering her eyes to her lap. Well, if I brought you back to Linsdale, then I'm glad you did. Just think of it as a salacious encounter. Did she mean to say serendipitous? A gentle smile, she clears her throat and taps the screen with her nail. The highlighted drink is a salty kelp latte, a popular sea-based item from the secret menu. This one, if I may, is my usual order. Sure thing. Let's do a moment. Wish her a knowing smile before stepping over to the kitchen area to prepare her order. As I lay my hands on the last bottle of cup leaves, a spark of inspiration hits me. And so I... This is a mermaid chick. What's her name? Kaya? Because we've only met two characters, and I know it's her. Magic. No one else here. Might be ordinary when I can afford to be a little flamboyant. Set my fingers a series of illuminated shapes traced in the air. Ingredients he might call and begin to dance around me and flourish. Dash of sea, water, pinch of sugar, a star of the show, the salty kelp. The kelp blades weave their way through the air until they collide and pirouette, crushing themselves into a fine powder. It falls like emerald snow into the basin of the china cup that dances its way into the woman's hands. Wow, so pretty cool, huh? But the magic show is not over yet. That's where arrives the sea milk, unfurling itself from a nearby jug like a porcelain ribbon. It winds its way into the cup, slowly mixing with the other ingredients. As the last drop falls, I bring my palms forward to bless the drink with one final drop of something special. Bet your magic. And now for the finishing touch. Can you tell me your name? She looks agitated, as if she has particular trouble answering the question. It's Kayana. Alright, sit tight, Kayana. I reached across the counter for a thin, nozzled bottle filled with caramel, and in small, delicate letters, writes her name across the milk foam. There you have it. Bon appetit. As it drew to her lips, the warm steam brings a soft flush to her cheeks. A small contented sigh escapes her as she returns the cup to the saucer. So, my salty cup latte. Does it meet a mermaid's approval? Yes, very much so. It's scrumptious. Aha, glad to hear it. I'm pretty sure you mean scrumptious. Oh my goodness, this is embarrassing. Human language is still so hard. Alright, I've been studying so much, and I still mess up all the time. Her face breaks out into a fierce flush. The quiet elegance I'd seen her in earlier is completely peeled away. Nothing could have prepared me for this. It's like her demeanor has a complete 180. I thought she was demure, but I guess she's just shy about making mistakes in front of a human. Either way, it's absolutely adorable. Don't apologize, it's cute. It makes up your words. It reminds me of... No way. Gaia! We're so smart. And so, I visited this cafe ever since my bindling ended. I suppose I looked quite different now, don't I? That's quite an understatement. I didn't recognize you at all. An hour later, Kaya and I were sitting together, lattes in hand at the counter. We've been talking so animatedly. I barely think either of us paused for breath. And now I recognize her familiar shyness and adorable mannerisms. But I have to admit, seeing her adult human form for the first time is still throwing me for a loop. Perfectly understandable while I consider her still looking like a child 3 years ago. The changes to her face in particular are profound, but not unexpected. After all, I know very well that mer people experience growth very differently from humans. A mer person's childhood, their bindling period, would last from the time they hatched until they reached their normal age of human adolescence. Throughout the bindling, mer children would barely appear to age at all, maintaining a childlike appearance for years and years. And then, at the bindling's end, what awaited them was a highly accelerated transformation into an adult body, and the ability to adopt a human form. After I met Kaya, because we couldn't really communicate at first, I remember wanting to learn more about her kind. I found out about bindling, and the change through one of Baba's old books. As I also recall, I had to climb up her bookcase like a monkey to get it, and slipped on the way up. Kaya cried for hours, and returned up on the beach covered in bruises. So, when did your bindling end? When I was about 17. That was a year and 3 months after you left. Not that I was counting. When she catches me smiling, Kaya turns away and scrambles for her drink. It's the cutest thing. But I'm suddenly reminded of something else. Wait, earlier you said that your name was Kayana. Well, after you seemed to not recognize me at the beach, I was a little embarrassed. She said heavily, resting her hand over her heart. Well, I'll come to the cafe just to see you again. I still couldn't bring myself to say anything. Oh, but Kayana is the land name I chose for myself, so I wasn't exactly lying to you. I was just having trouble pronouncing it when we were children. I do use it around Linsdale. My family in the ocean still use my sea name, of course. I probably shouldn't pry into that. Mermaid sea names are private, intimate things after all. I guess I should be careful not to call it Kaya too much around town though, either. With the... Oh... I don't even know how to begin to say that. With the question out of the way, I lift the conversation back around to what really matters. So how was it? New change, I mean. Oh, it was better than I expected. The growing pains, were bad for a while. Compared to the others who experienced it at the same time, my change was relatively quick. She takes a few sips of her latte, then lays the empty cup down and fingers it pensively. I'm just happy that my outside finally matches who I am inside. When we used to play at the beach together, we couldn't go far because, well, I chuckle as I head around the kitchen counter to wash our cups and saucers. No legs? Right. We're growing up, and in my mind, I was growing up with you. But physically, for me, nothing was changing, and every year I felt like you were getting further and further away. There was nothing I could do about it. I used to draw so many shapes in the sand. All the things I wanted to do, all the places I wanted to visit. But because of me, we couldn't do any of it. Her eyes glazed over, she suddenly looks quite dejected. I wanted to watch her beat herself up. I take her hand in mine. But we can right now, right? Exactly. No more hiding, and the rock pools are covering up her fins with a blanket I brought from the cafe. We can stray as far from the beach as we'd like now. Go anywhere we want. Now they have you here informed, the world is your oyster. You just let me know what you want to do, and we'll go do it. It looks like a charm. Kiana's sandy eyes light up. She leans across the counter, brimming with excitement. Okay. With your grandmother gone, you'll be working here full time, won't you? Then until we could do something, I'll just stop by every day to see you. I shrugged my shoulders, gesturing toward the empty room in an exaggerated way. Thanks, I appreciate the company in more ways than one. You can see this place isn't exactly hopping. I've had a regular or two, but honestly, I might struggle to make ends meet this summer. Based on today, I'll take just about any customer I can get. Anyone but that vain fop, anyway. I remember his smug face, the crabbier I get. The point when I realize that I'm not so much drying the cups, but grinding the tea towel into them, that the bell on the door rings for a second time. Welcome, just take a seat and I'll be with you straight to the devil. Mikael strides inside, looking the interior over with both hands shoved into his jean pockets, with a slightly furrowed brow. He looks decidedly less cool and collected than this afternoon, but it's obvious he's trying his best to mask it. This place you got here, the drafty cracks in the walls are a particularly nice feature. He's not cute, not at all. My jaw joints creak like unoiled metal as I force a smile. The sales tourism prides itself on its town's invigorating beachy sea breeze. Why depart for customers just because they're indoors? Cute, very cute. Sensing Kiana's discomfort, I gestured to the counter seats with an audible huff. Well, sit down if you're here to order. You are here to order. Mikael slides into the seat directly beside Kiana. He beams obnoxiously as he pulls out his phone. Of course, now we need a menu. Send me your best attempt at coffee. You're gonna pay for it? Please, of course I'll pay. I'm not trying to put you out of business. Though I retreat to the back of the kitchen and begin scooping and grinding the coffee beans. I keep one watchful eye on Mikael at all times. Thankfully, though his gaze is still roaming all over the interior, he isn't trying to snap pictures. But it's obvious he's searching for something. A juicy tidbit. A draw for his story. And so, after his eyes complete their rounds of the decor, naturally come to fall on his neighbor. Are you a regular here? Yes, I come here almost every week. His eyes widen in genuine surprise. Really? What's the usual order? If that's good, maybe I should have ordered that too. She flutters her eyes to me, begging for assistance. But I'm way ahead of her. I make the 3 strides back to the counter and heartbeat and step in. She's a special customer. Her order's not on the menu. And it's a, shall we say, an acquired local taste. I doubt you'd like it. Gotta admit though, I was totally tempted to put seawater in his coffee, just for the heck of it. Must resist. What's a shame? You have to let me in on the secret of that drink sometime, miss. Ever so polite, Kiana holds out her hand to introduce herself. Kiana. Just Kiana's fine, and I'm afraid I don't know much about the recipe or coffee for that matter. Just as I became concerned that Mikael might be about to defile Kiana's hand with a kiss, another one of those pretentious business cards appears in his hand and he drops it into hers. Enchanté. I'm Mikael, and I just happen to be an expert on coffee. I'm a cafe blogger. Cuisine? It's pronounced cuisine, Kiana. It means food. Turn to Mikael and scramble for a cover-up. She's not from around here. But her accent. I didn't look convinced at all, but thankfully Kiana's pure-hearted curiosity comes to the rescue. You heard about food, so you're here to write about coffee curiosities. Yeah, that's the intention. I doubt you heard of but Kiana has already stopped listening. This is perfect. Now you don't have to worry about finding customers. Once he tastes your coffee, he's sure to love it. And if you write something good, people will come from all over Linsdale. Kiana, my sweet, stubborn child, your innocence is wasted on him. He's not that kind of blogger. As I slowly turn the coffee grinder, I give Mikael a disapproving side-eye, and he shifts in his seat. The twitchy guy sitting beside you only visits coffee shops he expects to be bad. His blog is just a collection of hatchet jobs designed to be shocking and to take any business he writes about. He's only here because he thinks my coffee is going to taste so undeniably terrible that it'll make for a juicy article. One last yank, I grind the last of the coffee beans into dust. Or have I missed anything out? Mikael practically rolls his eyes into the next century. Hey now, you make it sound like I'm the enemy here. Ask my darling readers and they'll tell you. The only two things I'm guilty of in this business is being criminally handsome and honest. And the coffee they served at all of those other cafes just happened to be honestly awful. So just think of it this way. This is your perfectly fair chance to impress me. Not that you will. I've savored all the finest blends in the world has to offer. We're too open to try. It seems to take Kiana a few moments to process all this information. I guess she still isn't all too knowledgeable about this side of the human society yet. But once it does click into place, she looks crushed. Well, how could you do something like that to hardworking people? So despicable. I guess that one is supposed to be despicable. I just fixed it for her. Whoops. Maybe she has me back, but Kiana's wasting her breath. Says the coffee critic is unwillingly challenged a witch. I'm not the one who's about to be eaten alive. Hi, Kiana. Oh, it's alright, Kiana. He has the right to do what he likes, and so do I. All I have to do is prove him wrong. So go ahead. With a single finger, I slide a cup across the counter, and in one fluid motion, it stops just shy of Mikael's hand, taunting him like a gauntlet being laid down in a declaration of war. It emits a powerful, bitter aroma, so tantalizing that it clings in the air and doesn't let go. A mouth-watering aroma no person could resist. A secret house blend, with a little pinch of something special mixed in. I see Kiana a mischievous wink, and she understands my meaning implicitly. Drink up, you won't be disappointed. What's the matter? You should drink it before it gets cold. I won't use the excuse that it was bad simply because you ruined the flavor by letting it sit too long. Brimming with devilry, I decide to push him just a little harder. As the expert here, you wouldn't make that mistake, would you? Watching him squirm and tug at the collar of his jacket, I realize I'm enjoying myself far too much. Still, I don't take my eyes off him. I tie him down until he finally gives in, puts the cup to his lips, and... all that bravado, and it's mediocre after all. But he takes another sip. Exactly, this completely, and another. Completely, and another, and another, and another. He drinks and drinks until the veneer rips away, and he finally throws his head back, shamelessly chugging the hot liquid until he lapped up every drop, and the bottom of the cup is all that remains. Hachigobri slams the cup down on the counter and stares at it in dumb disbelief. He's shaking a little breathless, and there's something clouded in his expression. Delicious. Fuck yeah, fuck you. With that, I'm gonna end this episode here. So, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully, I'll see you later.